Of a trading frenzy of a rather unusual stock. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, earlier this year we heard about GameStop, that almost unknown video game store, which grabbed headlines as its share price soared more than 1,000% within a few days. Now, a bigger but equally unlikely company is center stage. Shares of AMC Entertainment, the group that owns America's biggest chain of cinemas, jumped around 100% last week, then 40% 2 days in a row, before tumbling around 30% today and roaring back in the last hour or so. Trading has been halted several times this Thursday because of that volatility. Now, as was the case with GameStop, AMC's gyrations seem to be the result of coordinated action by individual or so-called retail investors who are betting against professional investment firms. But AMC itself has also played into the volatility, saying today it would sell off 11 million shares and cautioning investors about the risk of losing their money if they buy stock at current unsustainable prices.
The power of Reddit, retail, and ultimately just some of the blogs, we're just seeing more and more have an influence on these names. And this is something the companies themselves are embracing, because look at AMC, they were able to raise money in terms of from this recent surge, which starts to become a self-fulfilling prophecy in terms of as a beneficiary. And I think we're just showing that this meme mania is going to continue in 2021.
Let's check in on the rest of the day's trading action. Some broader volatility on Wall Street as well. The Dow Jones has erased a nearly 300-point loss to creep just above the flat line there. The retailer Bed Bath & Beyond and BlackBerry also seeing some sharp swings today. The Nasdaq is trending lower, down about 0.8%. Two sets of data, meanwhile, have raised hopes about tomorrow's labor report in the U.S. First-time claims for unemployment benefits dropped below 400,000 last week for the first time since the early days of the pandemic. And the private sector added nearly 1 million jobs in May, according to the payroll processing firm ADP. Earlier, we saw a mixed close for the major European indices, slight gains in Frankfurt and Milan, losses in London and Paris. Shares of the French construction group Saint-Gobain were among the best performers. Its shares rose 4%. The UK and EU have agreed parameters for fishing rights for the rest of this year. The deal outlines catch limits for both British and European fishing boats on 75 shared fish stocks. Under the terms of the December Brexit deal, the two sides will have to negotiate quotas on an annual basis for the foreseeable future, setting the stage for recurring tensions over one of the most sensitive trade issues. This agreement doesn't resolve the dispute that erupted around Jersey about a month ago, which prompted both sides to briefly send Navy ships. Those fishing rights will be discussed at high-level Brexit meetings next week. French businesses are preparing for COVID restrictions to be further eased next week. Gyms and amusement parks are among those that expect to reopen, and they're hoping for a busy summer season. Solange Moujon has more.
This theme park outside Paris may seem like a ghost town, but behind the scenes, it's a hive of activity. Employees of the Mer de Sable, Sea of Sand amusement park, only have a few days left before reopening to the public.
Le compte à rebours a commencé, donc là, la pression monte, toujours. Les veilles d'ouverture, c'est toujours un peu plus nerveux, quoi.
There are some 200 new employees to train. Many are thrilled to have found work again.
Trouver un travail, c'était vraiment quelque chose d'assez difficile dans ces derniers temps. Du coup, voilà, satisfait et heureux.
The park even feared not finding enough people to hire on short notice. So back in April, they filled a third of the seasonal jobs and placed them on furlough until the government set June 9th as the opening date.
Étant donné qu'ils étaient en contrat, ils savaient qu'ils auraient leur emploi par derrière et nous, on est sûr d'avoir qu'ils soient là à l'ouverture, quoi.
And there is work to do. Despite a 45% dip in revenue because of COVID, the theme park decided to go ahead with building a new €3 billion roller coaster. It's a long-term bet to attract new visitors.
C'était très important pour nous de voir sur le long terme. Comme je vous l'ai dit, c'est entre 20 et 30 ans pour l'amortir. Donc on perd peut-être une année d'exploitation, c'est ce qu'on a perdu. Mais bon, ça fait un vingtième qu'on va amortir sur les 19 années restantes.
For a sector that employs 30,000 people and brings in €3 billion every year, the amusement park industry in France has been hit hard by COVID-related closures. Government aid covering up to 70% of fixed costs has helped. But now this park is hoping to corral the crowds.
Lots of fun to be had at a lot of amusement parks across the country, if the weather holds out.
Yeah, let's hope it does. Thank you very much indeed, our business editor, Kate Moody. Thank you so much.